Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sarah Najah binti Muhammad Sabirin. My matrix number is 2020866406. So we'll go for the first part in the presentation, which is introduction. So business is actually a necessity and has been the daily activity to every human since the old days, where it will never change, and it was also one of the way to communicate with each other among the humans. However, the only things that change is how is the business transaction is being conducted. So according to We Are Social and Hootsuite, report reveals that currently there are more than 5 billion people around the world use the internet. So in line with the increasing development of the information technology, it actually helped each of the company all around the world to enhance their growth of the business, to enhance their business not just domestically but also globally through the platform that right now are the most famous platform that have been used by everyone, which is called as e-market. So what is e-market? So e-market actually can be defined as a web-based information system that or a coordinating management that bring the sellers and the buyers together, facilitate their transactions that involves services, payments, goods, and information, and it also e-market provides institutional infrastructure. And other than that, also e-market actually can also be categorized as one of the e-commerce site that actually could connect the sellers with the buyers through online. So this virtual places or these types of e-commerce site actually have become famous for a very actually have already been known for a very long time, but it gained more and more attention from the various users as the world was hit by the outbreaks of the COVID-19. This is because why it's gaining more attention is because the consumers or the online consumers they tend to spend more of their time purchasing goods or services through e-market without require any physical contact between that always happen between the sellers and the buyers before the COVID-19 pandemic. And during also this is because why it's gaining attention is because that time uh, most of the country in the world have been locked down, so that why the consumers have taken incentive to um, use e-market to buy or purchasing any items that they want to buy during online and using a transaction online. So for examples that we can see is a platform such as Shopee, Lazada Express, Alibaba, Amazon, and many more. So and as we can see alongside of the definition, where show that e-market actually has revolved around interactions and building a relationship with customers, because even though they don't have any physical contact or having like a business face to face but online, they also can build a relationship with each other among the sellers and the buyers. And also it is a point where it distinguishes from the traditional way, because the traditional way that every humans face is they will buy something like face to face, right? But this time during the pandemic, they're using the online transaction for them to buy any goods or items. So we go to the next presenter. Okay, so next we'll go to the next part of the presentation is types of e-market that being used during the pandemic COVID-19. So I will explain about how much is the types that we used during the pandemic. So as stated by the researcher in the introductions, where the attentions of every online consumers have been focused more on e-market due to the spreadness of the outbreaks of the COVID-19. So this is because most of the consumers have taken incentives on doing any business through e-marketplace without having to leave their home, such as doing an online transaction or online shopping through any online platforms that are available this during the pandemic time. So e-market actually have a few of types and have been used during the pandemic. So first and foremost, we can see inside of the slide is the Independent Trade Exchange or ITX, and also we can also known as the independent e-marketplace, where it is actually a many-to-many e-market which is implemented by the neutral third party, and it also open for the buyers or the sellers in a particular industry. So the technical requirement actually for this type of e-market are not so high compared to the other types of e-market. So these types of e-market actually is working synonymously with business to business, or we call as B2B, which B2B is actually applies to any companies who wants to make their goods or services to the other businesses such as tire manufacturer. We can say, for example, it's like there's a tire manufacturer where they might sell their products tire to the car manufacturer. So in this case, this way it could actually gain or increase the growth of the profits, not just for the tire manufacturer, but also it gain profits for the car manufacturer or for the automotive manufacturer. So, example for the independent e-marketplace, we can say like Shopee, and same goes to Lazada, Amazon, and many more. So these platforms actually help the sellers to market their goods and services to the buyers according to their preferences. And during the outbreak of COVID-19, these platforms actually have already been taken uh, focus and gaining more attention to the consumers and help people to communicate with the sellers and the buyers without have to be a face-to-face business. So so people will buy any goods and services from the sellers online and doing an online transactions to pay for the good or services that they already purchasing online. So the second types of the e-market is private e-market, or also called as private trade exchange (PTX). So in another word, these types of e-market actually owned and operated by a single dominant company in the market, where the e-market can actually be considered as buy side or sell side exchange, where they actually have like use one platforms for them just to promote their own products or market their own products without having a need to share with other products. For example, we can say and for example we can see like Starbucks, where Starbucks is like a cafe which already like provided a beverages that based off coffee, where lots of the coffee lovers love to go to Starbucks for them to buy any drinks and even have to customize their own drinks. So Starbucks actually have like built one platforms that really special for them and specialize for their only for their products, which in that website we can see that how they promoting or how they marketing their own products such as like foods, beverages, merchandise, and many more. So private market have like five keys of services, which are identity management, integration, content management, process management, and last one is analytics. So PTX actually they are more actually a special processing such as customization. So we can see from the example we can see where everyone who went to Starbucks they might have like customized even though they already have provided a menu, but there's also a special process like customization or like customize their own drinks. So um, that was the second types of e-market. So the last types of e-market is we known as vertical e-market or consortium trade exchange or CTX. Actually can be considered as some to many e-market which it is formed by a consortium. So what is consortium? Consortium can be defined as an association or typically like several companies, which means that the trade have been reformed or no have been formed by several companies and it's by a group of powerful companies. So their objectives in forming the consortium trade exchange is to support opportunities for other companies to share their supply chain. And the type of this exchange is actually more powerful than the other types of exchange in security and collaboration, and it also requires a high level of trust and integration. So, and vertical e-market also actually aim at a single market sector to serve some specific product for a targeted audiences. It means that they already have their own objective where they need to target the audience, where it's not only for the public but they already have like the audiences that they really need to target it. So this is why they say that they have a technology level of the company is more higher than the other before. Is because they need to have a standard process and e-language which will increase the start cost up. So it's not surprising that various companies and some sectors that are used e-market to market their products during the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And I think that was all from my part. We'll go to another presenter. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, I am Siti Aisyah binti Muhammad Sanusi. I would like to continue this presentation with my topic, benefits of e-market towards public during pandemic COVID-19. So, my first point is online shop and new website increase almost every day. This is a good sign for consumers or customers because we don't need to walk in to the shop to buy uh, clothes or shoes or any grocery. So it is their customer to shop through online. And since pandemic, offline shop make a new strategy to build their own website to its customer, such as Padini, Brand Outlet, Guardian, Watson, and much more. So it is also made the e-market to be a choice of contactless shopping to publics. Even though people walk into offline shop, people also choose to use contactless payment, which is we can use PayWave or credit card, debit card, and we also can use mobile phone as a mobile transaction as we use QR Pay, Shopee Pay, TNG e-wallet, and much more. Okay, the second benefits of e-market is to help public to generate revenue as a side income. Since pandemic or MCO, most people are fired from their work, especially from non-government sector such as aviation and so on. So they choose business to support their life and their family. And since pandemic, people tend to use mobile phone more than usual. So it's actually easier for seller to to learn and take customer heart so that they will buy their product. In this situation, seller should make a personal branding, make a good marketing, and also need to uh, promote their product uh, in a unique ways so that customer will gain trust and will buy their product. So it is actually to help public to generate some income, not only the fired person. This also helps student or housewife, and in this situation helps seller to make a sale easily. And honestly, most of the seller and most of the founder in Indonesia uh, uh, love the pandemic time better because their sale increase skyrocketed than usual time because people uh, used to fill their leisure time with social media, and they tend to buy anything they want because they bored. Okay, last but not least, seller gain new knowledge. This is because seller need to compete with other seller, so they need to plan a new strategy to increase their sale. In order to increase their sale, they need to increase their knowledge to increase their in trend market trend, and also they need to increase their skill. They also need to attract their self to gain trust from customers. So they need to do multiple content types to attract attention to the buyers with a great content or campaign. Nowadays, people do personal branding to gain customers' trust instead of use advertisement because personal branding is free and cheap other than use ads to promote their product. And nowadays, with a few clicks, we can reach people all over the world via social media. Even we can buy stuff from uh, overseas, like China, Indonesia, and many more. People need to gain new knowledge so that they can gain more income because in business um, more more the more they learn the more they get. Because some people they didn't learn new things because of lack of time or lack of or many excuses. But if people who take more knowledge more than others, they will get more than others. Okay, that's all from me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Hikmah Hanisha binti Nur Haimi, and today I will present about the issue related of e-marketplaces as alternative product distribution during pandemic COVID-19. Okay, the first issues that arise is privacy and security. Okay, in e-market transaction, online no matter in pandemic phase or not, the issue of privacy and security will be arise, and the personal data of the buyer such as our name, address, phone number, and also the transaction detail of the buyer needed disclosed to third parties so that the online transaction will be processed to the next step. And this activity that I have stated may distribute to the illegal activities of sharing the info to the third party, and the possibility of our personal data that includes our name, address, IC number, passport number, email address, and other contact details will be used illegally by unresponsible person. And there are studies that stated that e-market not being appropriately prioritized by the government, and for 40% of the respondents of that study state that the e-commerce industry was not adequately consulted when developing necessary policy solutions. And the issues of e-payments, e-commerce skills, and access to funding were not less frequently than other policy concerns. And the key issues identified were limited finance for liquidity shortage, expensive transaction fees for e-payments, and a lack of compensating lost plans. And regarding of that, actually there are room for the improvement in the COVID-19 response in the area of e-commerce regulation and strategies. Okay, so the second issues that arise is disrupted supply chains. Okay, during the pandemic COVID-19, we are having lockdown, right? Market closures and the disruption on transport and etc. And the feedback that we receive from the effect of this pandemic confirm how supply chain disruption, examples such like closed airport, freight disruption, especially in remote location, and dysfunctional storage facility and others have deeply impact turnover of e-commerce sector relying on trade in goods and value chains. And as a result of the lockdown, manufacturing in many economies come to a halt, resulting in lower productivity and labor shortage in many countries. And beside that, online goods purchase have experienced that the same supply chain constraint as physical transaction. Such example, the implementation of new health rule has had a significant impact on international transportation and logistic services, since they have severely disrupted most international method of transit like on land, sea, and air cargo. Okay, the third issue that arises about the e-market is disrupted logistics due to restriction of on movement. E-commerce in good has been disrupted as a result of the lockdowns imposed to prevent the virus from spreading further. And as a result of the interruption of manufacturing activities, lower productivity and labor shortage, many businesses have continued to face supply issues. This is because the restriction of on movement has affected the work culture before the pandemic COVID-19 happened in logistic area, and those with warehouse facilities in the affected areas have had to make difficult decision about how and whether to continue manufacturing their goods. And as a result of the pandemic, supply chain weakness have been highlighted, especially in the logistic. Beside that, the adoption of new health law, which have disrupted land, sea, and air cargo transit, has had significant impact on international transport and logistics services, on which all e-commerce and more traditional trade operation rely. The cancellation of over 1 million passenger flights, which were mostly used to convey postal mailings and other minor shipments, has resulted in a major reduction in transportation capacity and an increase in shipping charge for cross-border B2C and B2B transaction. Okay, the fourth issue that arises is ICT infrastructure and services. Okay, there are studies that emphasize the necessity of having an accessible, affordable, and reliable ICT infrastructure, particularly in rural areas where access to online market is limited and low digital literacy is a key barrier. Even in locations that are that have better connected, obstacles still exist. And in terms of issue in ICT infrastructure and service, the issue of broadband internet has arisen. The challenges of facing the broadband internet is the cost not reduced. As we know, during the pandemic, we need to work from home, right? Which is we really need to have the good internet access. To access the internet, it may cost the high bill on that, which is on the electricity or the bill of the internet. So the reduction of broadband internet costs maybe will enhance e-market activity efficiently. Besides that, internet quality worse due to higher bandwidth use is one issue that arises of users e-market since the COVID-19 outbreak. No new e-government services and no initiative for undeserved areas internet also is the issue arise on e-marketplaces as alternative product distribution during a pandemic COVID-19. So the fourth things that I state is some issues that arise related of e-marketplaces as alternative product distribution during pandemic COVID-19. That's all for me. Thank you.
So, as conclusion, e-market is the platform that bring both positive and negative feedback from the usage. From the positive side, it can help us to generate revenue in a proper way, and it also help us to support our life. And and as a negative side, some people used to scam other people with a creative photos and unique promotion, and they said they sell that item in the lowest price, but after they get the money, they didn't post or didn't give us any of the item that we bought. So we need to discreet from these people, and most people have been laid off and start to grow business in e-market during pandemic COVID-19, and most of them also succeed in their business and be one of the millionaire in our country. That's all from me, and that's all from us. Thank you.